Hey everybody, Dr. Sheena Howard here, founder of Power Your Research. And today I'm talking about how to build a community. So this is super important to anything you're trying to build. If you're trying to build your brand as an academic and get your expertise out there and become a thought leader and all that good stuff. What I've come to learn is that selling your program, selling your consulting or whatever it is can make you good money, right? Can make you good money. But I think what I've learned is something that is more sustainable long term and will have like a flywheel effect, if you will, is building a community in an activated community, a community that wants to be there, and specifically a subscription community where people pay you monthly because one, you have a core group of fans and followers that are willing to buy your next thing, willing to engage with you, willing to tell other people about you, willing to tell their friends to come into your community. And so it becomes a sustainable monthly source of income when the consulting is not coming in, when your program is not bringing in new clients or whatever it is. The thing is, building a community is not easy. It's hard work, and you have to be committed to it just like everything else. And you can think about it like this. If you sell a program or even consulting or you have clients, those are usually transactional. Maybe you get 3 monthly payments. Maybe it's a one-time payment. Maybe you even have clients that are on there long term, but eventually that contract ends or eventually that speaking engagement ends, right? But a community, if you're creating a community that is valuable to the people in it, can be that sustainable income that you need in between. So I personally use Patreon for my paid subscription community, but there are a number of platforms out there that you can do it on. It doesn't have to be Patreon. And I'm not going to give you all of the strategies and tips, but I can give you one strategy and tip or maybe two in this episode that have been useful to me. One, when you build a community, you have to be committed. So it's a big thing because you're responsible for a lot of people. So I'm just shy of 500 people in my Patreon community, and I have to deliver on my promises. I can't tell them that I'm going to offer something that I don't offer. Today, in a little while, we have a group coaching call. I can't schedule group coaching calls and then not show up, right? I have to be committed. So it's a Saturday. I have a group coaching call with my community at 3 p.m. That's something that I have to commit to. And that commitment scared me early on, and it was the reason why I spent a couple years wanting to build a community but not, because I had not yet made the commitment to myself first and wrapped my head around being committed to all of these people that would be in my community. So the first way to build a community is to commit, because then you have to offer them certain things that are going to keep them in the community monthly. So you have to give them things to look forward to. So it's one thing to get someone in your community, but then you have retention, right? So if you're watching this, you're probably an academic. What's the biggest thing your university talks about? Okay, we can get them in freshman year, but how do we retain them so that they can graduate senior year? If you have a low retention rate at your university, you have a big problem on your hands, right? So it's the same thing with a community. And what do people need at your university to stay? They need support. They need to like being there. They need the things that you promised them when they were at open house and thinking about coming to your university. So those are all the things that you have to think about when you are building your own community. So it's going to be recruitment and retention, words that my academics are going to be really, really, really familiar with. Um, I will say building the community has been a big challenge. It's been a big challenge getting people in. I think I do a pretty good job of keeping people. And everybody's not going to stay. Some people only need you for a season. That's okay. For me, if I can get people to stay for 6 months, that's fantastic. I have had, there are people in my community that have been there for like 3 years. But you have to keep offering them things. You have to keep your promises. You have to keep doing surveys and asking them what they want and what they need. It's work, y'all. It's work to build this community. But long term, if you're selling anything and you're trying to build a personal brand, you should get started on building your community today. If you're watching this, there is a QR code up here on how to get your first 100 Patreon members. For those of you that are trying to build your Patreon, you can also um, the QR code will take you to the book called First 100 Your Patreon Strategy Guide. If you are listening to this, you can find that book at patreon.com/Dr. Sheena Howard, or you can also find it on Amazon. It's called First 100 Your Patreon Strategy Guide. And while it's focused on Patreon, it's about community building, how to get your first 100 members and make them happy and keep them. As I mentioned earlier, I'm just shy of 500 Patreon members. My goal this year was to have 500 Patreon members. And right now, at the time of recording this video, I have 497 Patreon members. So it's a beautiful thing, but it's work and it's about commitment and keeping your promises. So I hope this was helpful to some out there. I could talk all day about building the community and the tips and tricks and strategies and all that good stuff. But if you want to learn more and you're a tenured professor, jump on a free consultation call with me, book a call with me. If you're listening to this via the podcast, find me on LinkedIn, send me a message. I'll send you a link to jump on a call with me. Again, my name is Dr. Sheena Howard. I'm the founder of Power Your Research, which is an academic branding company. I teach tenured professors how to increase their visibility, authority, and income without the expense of a publicist. So I hope you have an amazing